Hi guys, so today we're going to talk about three key types of climate zones. Number one, hot or tropical zones. Number two, temperate zones. And number three, cold or polar zones. So that's one, hot and tropical, two, temperate, and three, cold and polar. Cool. So let's start with hot and tropical. So, hot climates. Hot climates. Examples are tropical, 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 tropical. Now these mainly exist around the equator. They are hot and humid, and they have regular high temperatures. Now these temperatures stay the same, but the changes happen between dry and wet. So sometimes it is wet and sometimes it is dry, but it is always hot and has a high temperature. Great. Example number two, arid. Arid, A-R-I-D. Arid climates are dry climates. There's no rain and very few plants. Temperature changes between day and night. So at night it's colder, but during the day it's hotter. And examples are usually deserts. Great, so example number two, arid, which has dry climates, no rain and few plants, and temperature changes through day and night. And they're usually deserts. Example number three, equatorial. Equatorial climates, Equatorial, equatorial. Now these are usually hot and have an average temperature all year round. So they are always hot all year round and it doesn't really change. There's usually lots and lots of rainfall and precipitation. And examples are rainforests. So because of this, there are loads of plants, loads of rainfall, and it's hot all year round. So that's example number three, equatorial, hot all year round, rainfall, and plants. Fabulous. Now, climate number two, temperate climates, as we discussed earlier. Temperate. Temperate climates include Mediterranean, Mediterranean, Mediterranean. And these have cool, wet winters, but hot, dry summers. And they get their name because of the sea, the Mediterranean Sea. And this is because most land around the Mediterranean Sea has this climate of cool, wet winters and hot, dry summers. Great. Next example, oceanic. Oceanic climate, Oceanic. And this is because there are higher or middle altitudes. There are cool summers, but cool but not cold winters. Now, this means that usually temperatures are between 0 degrees and 22 degrees. So, there are higher and middle altitudes, cool summers, and cool but not cold winters. Oceanic. Great. And example number three of temperate climates is temperate. Now these, the summers are mild, the winters aren't too cold. So an example is England, where I live, because the summers are okay and the winters are not too cold, but cold. So that is temperate. Temperate. Summers are mild and winters aren't too cold, just like England. Another example of a temperate climate is continental. 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 Now this is common in the northern hemisphere because it is far from the sea usually that this climate exists. There are long, cold winters and short, hot summers. Cool. So, continental climates are usually in the northern hemisphere when it's far from the sea. They have long, cold winters and short, hot summers. Great. So, temperate climates, we have Mediterranean, which is cold, wet winters and hot, dry summers. Oceanic, which is cool summers and cool but not cold winters. Temperate, which summers are mild and winters aren't too cold, like England. And continental, which is when there are long, cold winters and short, hot summers. Now, finally, cold climates. As we said earlier, cold and polar climates. Now, examples of cold climates are polar, Polar, polar. Now, this is when there are long periods of extreme cold. There's an average temperature of 10 degrees Celsius, but usually temperatures are lower than freezing. Eek. And precipitation always falls as snow because it's so cold. So polar, long periods of extreme cold, usually temperatures below 0 degrees Celsius, and precipitation is always snow. And now another example, subpolar, Subpolar, subpolar. Now subpolar is when there are very, very long cold winters, very, very cold, and short cool summers. And temperatures can be as low as minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and usually below 0 degrees. How cold? So, we have two types of cold climates. Polar, long periods of extreme cold, and precipitation, usually snow. And subpolar, long, very cold winters, short, cool summers, and everything usually below 0 degrees.